This is a video tutorial on using perspective warp in Adobe Photoshop. So I have started Photoshop with fresh preferences. The next thing I'm going to do is open up my original image that I would like to place a replacement image into. So I have this image of a joke book, and I'm going to replace the cover with this image of Photoshop, the 2021 release. So let me open up this in Photoshop. And so what I'm going to do is make sure that I do not affect this layer, and I'm going to bring in that Photoshop cover as a smart object. To bring it in, I want to bring it in as a smart object. I can do that either by going to the File menu and saying Place Embedded or Place Linked, or I can just drag it from the desktop right into my artwork, into my canvas. And I'm just going to resize this a little bit just so that it's more in the center of my page, and commit my changes. Next, you can see that this has come in as a smart object. It has a different icon, which basically means that any changes I make to this are not going to change the original file. So this PNG that I have on my desktop will remain looking exactly the same as it does right now, even if I make changes to it in Photoshop. So with this layer selected, I'm going to go to the Edit menu and select Perspective Warp. It does give instructions on how to define the planes of your image. So it basically tells you put a guide, if you will, a bounding box, over your object, telling Photoshop the current perspective of it. Then you want to go into warp mode, which then tells Photoshop how you're going to be changing the location of these anchor points. So it gives you instructions again on how to complete this, and I'm going to show you. It basically tells you you're going to take each of these corner points and tell it where in perspective you want it to be. So I'm just going to drag these corner points to the corners of the book. It's a little difficult to see what is going on underneath, so I'm going to just change the opacity of that so I can see what's happening underneath it, so I can align just right. Once you are happy with your results, you can simply hit the check mark, and it will be placed now in that perspective. So I'm going to bump my opacity back up, and now it is the cover of the book. There are some more things that we can do to make this look a little bit more realistic, because currently, if I look at the previous cover, you can see that here we're in focus. It starts to get out of focus, like there is an iris blur on here. So you can explore iris blur. You can also apply a displacement map if that is needed, or perhaps a field blur or a tilt shift to make it look better. You can also apply some shadowing as well.